deathBYmitten here, and today I'm going to be discussing Activision Blizzard and how they let over 800 people go or laid off or fired this last Tuesday. Today's Friday. That was a few days ago. I wanted to talk about this and express my opinions about it, and I guess have a kind of like a more of a professional commentary and try to either keep the swear words to a minimal or just not swear at all. And partially for the reason why my mind is set to be more professional is because if in the strange likelihood or maybe with some sprinkle of magic or something, or in some miraculous way, somebody that used to work at Activision, out of those 800 plus people happen to come across my video, I could say, to them directly through, this commentary is that I feel sorry for you. I feel bad that this had to happen to you, and I wish you the best of luck. And basically, I wish you the best, the best in life. I really hope that you find something, and I just feel really bad for these people, and I wanted to kind of say that before I proceed to ranting about Activision Blizzard, because as much as I'm kind of, a little bit heated, I'm kind of disappointed and upset about this. I'm going to try to keep this, calm, professional and all that kind of stuff. I feel so terrible for these people. I couldn't imagine, working at a big company like that, a multi-billion-dollar company, and then you're just told randomly, we're making cutbacks or we're making cuts, we're letting you go because, unfortunately, we want to, line the pockets of, of our CEO, our executives, and then our investors. So, good luck and bye, basically. That's kind of a terrible thing. And honestly, in my deepest opinion, I would say in the form of kind of a visual aid. Imagine, a barrel, and then I don't know if everyone has ever, or if anybody has ever heard of the saying, bottom of the fish barrel or the bottom of the barrel. When I say the bottom of the barrel, I mean that's as low as you can go as a human being, basically. That means you're a terrible fucking person, and I'm trying to cut back on swearing, but I just, that kind of slipped. I do apologize, but it just, at the heat of the moment, I guess, I really tried, but it just came out. That's a huge fail. But anywho, I just, since I feel so bad for these people, and I have this, not even a bias, but this, kind of resentment towards Activision Blizzard right now, because I took a moment to think how I would react to that, and I would be very sad. I would be especially if I dedicated many years to that company, I would feel so sad. I would probably be depressed. Psychologically, that would affect me in a very poor way. And, honestly, I really can't fully imagine how that would feel like if I spent years at a company and then I was let go. I don't know that feeling because I've never had that experience personally. However, I know what it feels like to be fired, don't get me wrong, but I've never worked at a company for so long where I worked 10 years and then I got fired or something like that. That would feel very devastating psychologically. So I can't imagine how 800 plus people are feeling right now, the fact that they lost their jobs because, higher ups at Activision Blizzard decided that it would be a moral and good idea to let them go because they wanted to make sure that the CEO would get his $15+ million bonus check at the end of the year, and that their executives would get a fat check at the end of the year, and so their investors can get money. Basically, it's all about money here, and it's such a sad thing that higher ups at Activision are willing to go down that route to just for the sake of a CEO that could easily say, I won't even take that $15 million. Let's try to, instead of letting 8 million, or well, not 8 million, but 800 plus people go, let's have 400 people go, instead of 800. And initially, when I first heard about this, it said several hundreds. And I was imagining they're going to let 400 people go, and I thought that would be still, 400 people is sad. Matter of fact, 1 or 2 people, that's still sad, But the fact that they let over 800 people go is wow, And yes, I think overall they saved I think from making that cutback or whatever, I think that was a savings for them of $7.2 billion or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong with that information. Obviously, I don't know everything. I more so am focused, at least in my mind, about the fact of how so sad it is that these people lost their jobs. And if I was able to help them, I would. But now, just to be very blunt and very honest, when I think of Activision Blizzard, especially now, this particular situation, this Friday, after, hearing about this, watching other YouTube videos about this, I would say, Activision Blizzard has gone far beyond, the bottom of that barrel. Matter of fact, I believe that they have dug themselves under that barrel, and that's a whole nother realm. That's a whole nother, terrible, it's a whole new level of terrible, basically. It's a whole complete new level of terrible, and it's so disappointing to see that a multi-billion-dollar company couldn't find a way to, maybe keep these people or, let go of a lot less people, maybe 100. That would be maybe reasonable. Some companies, big companies, they'll do that. They'll let, like the, auto industry, they fired several thousands of people, but that's a whole nother ball game. That's a whole nother industry, but looking back at, the gaming industry, an industry that's trillions of dollars are involved in the gaming industry. Like, I don't know how people, people have to, basically visualize with all these big publishing companies and all these big development teams, out there, you have to think about if they were to combine all their wealth together that they have accumulated over the last, let's say, 20 years or so, or 10 years, that's a lot of money. That's probably money in, $1, $2 trillion, $3 trillion. That's a lot of money, right? So a company like Activision Blizzard, which is a huge, huge company, it's just really disappointing to see that they're willing to, tell, their 800 plus employees to screw off. But as we all know, as people that have been with the Call of Duty franchise, and anybody in the Call of Duty franchise that can, has paid attention over the last few years, you'll notice that, there's been a lot of examples of poor business practices. Basically, a lot of times it seemed like Activision Blizzard was telling their consumers, the people that made them who they are today, basically telling them to screw off. We're not going to even consider your opinions or thoughts about, potentially adding to this game or what you think about the game. We don't care as long as we get money. That's all they seem to care about. And it's that much more disappointing, just going off of that information, and now this happens. If it was that they had good business practices, they cared about, their fan base, the consumer base, the people that, made them who they are today, and then this happened, maybe people would be able to understand that sometimes companies need to make very dramatic cutbacks. But, the fact that they had poor business practices, they're, from what other YouTubers have mentioned, apparently they're in and out of court because of these loot boxes, because of other countries banning loot boxes. So they're, kind of going down the road of being a little bit in trouble. So it's a huge investment for them. And then, that would be something that some people will say is justified for them making, for them to make these cutbacks and this and that. There's no justification to let that many people out of your company go, especially if you make several billions of dollars on a yearly basis. And now there's going to be even more of a decline because of the negative press that this whole thing is receiving. There's a lot of people that are so astonished by this terrible, terrible thing that it's only going to, bite them in the ass in the long run. It might be a short-term gain for them, but in the long term, it's going to really hit them hard, and they will then, when it's too late, realize that we're screwed. And, basically I'm saying this, in a way where it's almost like I'm concerned, but I'm not concerned about the company. I'm more so concerned about the people that lost their jobs. So like I said, I wish them well. This is really disappointing, and I'm just going to top it off by saying, once again, I believe that Activision has dug themselves under that barrel. They are beyond, being at the bottom of that barrel. They are at a completely new low. I am the deathBYmitten, and those are my opinions, my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you have an opinion, feel free to post whatever you like. And that's all I got to say. Pretty much, yeah, pretty much it. Peace.